I think we might have to try and reconnect because I think we're having interruptions there with the service providers, so we'd have to reconnect. If you can hear me, sir. All right, let's try to reconnect. At the moment, it's quite difficult, so let's try to get back with the Commissioner for Information. All right, while we do that, let me remind you that you can get on Facebook at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH and join in on the conversation. So there's been a lot that came up, especially with the visit of the FCT minister to Rivers State and the comments he made about let the governor go and speak with the media. Well, he said that when he attended the special Thanksgiving that was organized by the minority leader of the House of Representatives, Kingsley Chinda, to mark his birthday. We had Governor Nyesom Wike, former Governor Nyesom Wike, and FCT minister now in the state. And he said a few things that got a lot of people talking and wondering. Let me just play that excerpt from that event and you hear what the former governor said.
Petition me. I don't have what? Immunity. After all, most of them are experts in writing petition to EFCC. They were the ones who wrote against Amechi to EFCC. Let them write. I don't have immunity. If you know you have what it takes, appear before the press, talk with the press, live coverage, let them ask you questions, and you talk. Let's see. I talk with the press every day. I say, ask me a question.
Talk with the press. Let them ask you questions. So I think to clarify, because a lot of people thought it was the FCT minister calling the governor of Rivers State to a media chat. No, that's not what it is. It was asking, rather saying it was asking the governor to engage in a media chat, talk with the media, and respond to questions and etc. Some of the things that he was saying. Was still finding it difficult to reconnect with the guests. Hope that we're able to achieve that. It's really difficult with the service providers this period, so you'd have to bear with us. But in the meantime, are you satisfied with the performance of the government thus far? That is the question on Facebook we're asking. Are you satisfied with the performance of the administration in the last 10 months? There are those who are not very comfortable with economic policies. Let's start with that. For many people, we've not seen a clear-cut direction what we want to do economically. We don't know what the economic team is of the government and what's the direction and what are we seeking to do. Who and who would form the economic team, or is there an economic team of the government? People who have those questions, and those questions are indeed valid ones, especially when you look at what's happening in the country and then you begin to see what other states are doing to tackle this problem that we're having of inflation, rising cost of living. And in Rivers State, it is gradually becoming something else. Are there plans by the government to solve this problem? Is the government looking at policies that it would implement to tackle this problem? If they are, have we heard about them? Why haven't we heard about them? There's a lot said about food production too as well. We recently saw the presidential candidate of the Labour Party talking about why we need to get into agric. We've seen the government of Niger State invest a lot into agriculture in just the space of a couple of months. With the whole food crisis, we saw that. All right, we have the commissioner with us online now, sir. Thank you very much. I think we're having slight issues with the service provider, but we can hear you now.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning. So quickly, talk to us. Many Rivers people have been asking questions, and one of those questions would be, what plans the government have for Rivers people beyond civil service? We know that the government is doing a lot with civil servants in Rivers State. If you can bring us up to speed with that, and also let us know what is in it for those people who are not civil servants in Rivers State.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that I'm a bit worried that you are using the word Rivers. People would like to know what the government has.
Yep, it's a question.
This is a government that is barely. This is a government. If you want to appraise it, is if you say 9 months exactly, then you be fair to nature. We are also a government with other sister states who are also grappling with the challenges thrown up by the economic situation of the country. When we came, we had a definition as to what the governor intends to do. There was a 37-page blueprint, and then he clearly defined the pillars of his administration. But when the economy happened and things, went overboard, we were compelled to going back to the drawing board to see how to address the challenges. The major thing that every Nigerian is facing now is the access of food. Food scarcity has thrown this entire country into a situation that they never planned for. Even if you said you're buying fuel at the time Governor Fubara came on board at the cost of 170 a liter. Now fuel is for 700 naira a liter. So it tells you that anybody, any family that is not facing those challenges, maybe having something else that is fulfilling them. But to say that you're not feeling what this government is doing is an unfair.
All right, to put fairly or to put adequately, it's not because people are not aware that there are challenges. I mean, people also have criticized the federal government, regardless of how short the administration has lived. And I'm sure you'll be one of those people that has also looked at steps that the federal government is taking to say, okay, it could be 9 months, 8 months, 10 months. Challenges are natural to come. That's the reason that people have leaders. The thing now is, what are the plans, or what are for instance, in Niger State, there are immediate plans that we have the state government looking at to tackle the problem of rise in food prices. They are beginning to deliberately make investment in agriculture, open up lands, get local farmers, aid them, have tractors to do mechanized farming for these people, and have them divide these lands and share, and have seedlings and the rest of them. There are certain deliberate steps that you can see them taking. It's not because there isn't a problem, but let's do something short term. And I think most of the times when we sit and have conversations with Rivers people, or have them call in and talk on radio, it's not because that they do not see that the time is short or what government is doing, but is, okay, can we know what is on ground? If we know that we are going to Kaduna and we're on the road to Kaduna, I'm pretty sure everybody would be calm because we know where we're heading to. So if you can give us an insight into, let's take agriculture first. What is the government doing? We know that there's work at the Songhai farm. That would take a while. While we wait for that to happen, is there anything else on ground that we can look at the very short term to tackle the problem of high cost of living and high cost in food prices?
Yes, when the governor visited the Songhai farm last year, I'm not too sure that quite a number of people knew what was the reason for the government to have taken such a bold step. And then the consequences of that visit and all the fallout are part of what we are grappling with. But to say so much is not being executed in the agro sector is an understatement, because I know fully well that there are no cash crops that can grow overnight. The challenges that Nigerians are going through now will ease off, if they allow the season to take. God has a way of producing food. And how do you do it? You plant, and then you allow it to grow. I don't think there's any cash crop that you can grow in 24 hours and it's there. So I want to believe strongly that what the governor has done and put in place, and putting in place too, are things that we have to take off this challenge. We didn't really plan. We didn't really plan to get into this script. We planned to take things systematically. That was why we came with the impression of trying to tackle it. Look at the farms in Fubara, all the other farms at Pelela and the rest of them. These are things that we're putting together to be able to take charge.
Are there agricultural programs or agricultural loans that the government say, okay, let's look at this and give to farmers in communities who are growing cassava?
There is a synergy of 4 billion, which intends to address both agri and all other sectors. It's not intended only, like I usually said, our young entrepreneurs, not just only that. There are other areas that this money is intended to address. And those are the things that we're putting together. And then by this, shortly after now, those who will be the beneficiaries will be made open to our rivers people. And then you will see that quite a number of funds, will be on deck to be able to deal with the challenges. We agree that there are challenges. The government is not also sleeping. There's done quite a lot to see how to tackle it. There are other problems. Not only in the
all right, Commissioner. Let's take this commercial. Please just stay with us.
Stay with us. Nigeria Info will be
At past 8, the conversation continues here on the Morning Crossfire. My name is Ifeemi Andrew. My guest is the Commissioner for Information, Rivers State, Mr. Joe Johnson. Sir, thank you for your patience and holding up for us. We understand it was a bit long, but thank you. Let's get back to it. So, you were trying to tell us the government's steps taken with regards to agriculture, and I was saying, you're talking about the 4 billion naira fund for a grant or a loan that's been set aside to empower entrepreneurs, small-scale farmers, etc.
Yes.
Is it a grant or a loan?
It's a 4 billion seeding fee. It's going to be a loan.
Okay.
It's a loan.
And so how come? The question now is, how many people, especially in the local communities, are aware of this and know that they can access this? Is it something they can access now as the
We took yes, very soon we're going to publish our handover checks to the beneficiaries. We took the publicity to the grassroots and, had even centers where people could go, and then get the forms, complete the forms, and then return. In a short while from now, the beneficiaries will be let open and their checks will be openly given to them.
Is there
so that they can continue to ply their trade.
All right. Is there any provisions for those mothers who are local business people, local farmers who might not be educated enough to access this sort of funds? Is there a way to get across to them? I mean, similarly, in the same breath, if you can respond to this, a lot of people also looking at what would the government be doing for people.
It was made physically present for those who are in the rural areas, and I'm sure that quite a number of them took advantage of it. I'm sure that their children will also have helped them in trying to complete the necessary formality. So there's no challenge anywhere.
All right. So the problem we have on cost of living economically, a lot of people have also been, and we've seen on the news what the government is doing with the civil service. But now the question that has come up is beyond, outside the civil service, we have artisans, we have other people in the private sector, we have people who do their own business and are not servants of the government. What policies are on ground
Don't also forget that we have opened the employment corridor. Only recently, the government announced 500 medical officers. And that's another way of opening the channel for outsiders to benefit. The 10,000 employment is almost being concluded. We have also opened the employment in the nations. The last time I was with you, I promised you that I was going to give you an update. The government has also opened that opportunity for the commencement of the employment.
Has the process begun?
There are other ways also of also, getting employment opportunities and opening, that sector for people to be part of what
that's it now. As the process began, hello, Commissioner, if you can, as the process for employment into the Ignatius Adjuri University began, it's one thing to make the announcement or the pronouncement. It's another thing to actually begin the process. Has the school started employing?
The governor ordered the board on the day they inaugurated the board to recommence the recruitment process, even up to the Captain Elicha Amadi Polytechnic. So these are opportunities that will open the employment opportunity to Rivers people. So I want to believe strongly that if we're a little bit patient with this government, quite a lot of things will happen in the area of social infrastructure. Not just road construction as it were, which is infrastructure that is common with politicians. We are looking at social engineering and social infrastructure.
But all of these you've mentioned, it would still boil down to the civil service. What about the private sector? Are we seeing companies, factories?
That I mentioned, we're also creating, government business is actually to provide enabling environment for businesses to try. We are trying to make it easy for people to do things, remove all the bottlenecks associated with doing businesses in our state, so that even private practice will thrive. We are doing the 20,000 low-cost housing. It's a private enterprise that is actually running that show, and quite a number of other opportunities, like I talked about in the agro sector. We're looking at those who are doing commercial farming, so that we can scale our agro industry. And I'm believing God that shortly after now we'll begin to see the effect of it. Nothing good comes.
What about the power sector? I mean, we saw in Abia State the collaboration with the state and federal government with the power plant for Aba, and we know the commercial nature of that city. Can we have
that power sector in Abia is not a direct what do you call it? A direct project of the Lesotho government.
Exactly, we had said
that power sector came from Professor Batnaji. And I recall that he was even a minister at some point when that project started. And for whatever reason, he resigned. It was in collaboration with Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. We have a plan to also take advantage of the liberalization process of the federal government based on the act, to have our own independent power. Don't forget that the government of Dr. Peter Odili, at some point, by the Omoko gas turbine, we had a number of turbines which, if we had, been all with them, I'm sure the rest would have been boasting of an independent power supply. But this government also has started with something that will see the light of the day soon.
Okay. We're going to come to projects and some response to, we must talk the political part of all of this. But first, I would open the phone lines and we'll take a few calls from the listener. I'm pretty sure there's plenty of questions that they also want to ask. If you are listening, please send your thoughts to us on WhatsApp 0809 030 6416. 0809 030 6416. That's the WhatsApp number. Send in your questions and contributions. We'll be taking them. Are you satisfied with the performance of the administration so far? That's the question on Facebook. Be a part of the conversation there at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. That is the handle on Facebook. Like the page, follow the live stream, and do well to share as well. The numbers to call are 0817 923 0002, 0817 923 0003, 0817 923 0007. Please, the moment you're on, be straight to the point, your question or contribution, and keep it very short and simple. Thank you very much. We'll start with Mufasa from NTA Road. Good morning, Mufasa.
Yeah, good morning, Andrew. Good morning to the Honorable Commissioner. Well, for me, I think for the very first time, we've had a governor who the point of interest is not just on a brick and mortar, because that has always been the perception of a lot of Rivers people. A governor who is interested in all sectors of the economy, employment, agriculture, and all of that. For me, it's a welcome development and a right step, the right direction. But my question is pertaining to the employment, the recent employment in the Rivers State University Teaching Hospital. A lot of people are complaining about the network, because I have a friend who has applied, but he's saying that, they usually have network issues when they want to open the site. So I don't know if the commissioner can, intervene in that aspect, so that anybody that's interested can just easily have a seamless process.
All right, Mufasa.
A lot of people are happy with the government.
I think so we can save the time. I think the hospital management should also be in charge of looking at that. I don't think that's something you want to go back to the governor to say. The hospital management should be able to ensure that the portal is active. The ministry should do what they need to do about that. We'll still get the commissioner to respond, but Lugard in Echie, good morning.
Yeah, Andrew. Good morning.
Good morning. Straight to the point. Go ahead.
I agree, Honorable Commissioner. Good morning, sir. Yes, I want to first of all say that it's very unfortunate that the Commissioner of Information is not answering your question directly. A lot of questions you asked him, more especially the employment. You have asked him, is it ongoing now? And he has not answered that question. For me, this is a government that we, Rivers people, thought that we do well. This is about 9 months now. Compare what is happening in River State here, compare what's happening in Aba. Aba is far better than what is happening in River State here. And all of them were sworn in the same time. Now, the loan you are talking about, I'm a farmer and also a grassroots politician. I've not had that from in my own area. It is purely for their own supporters. And for me, this kind of attitude is not going to help us in this state. We were all against the FCT minister when they wanted to impeach the governor. But it's now we are realizing that that impeachment that those people was about to carry out, they did it on their own. But what we are doing today, what is happening today, is making us to lose hope in this present administration. So I want to
all right, look at point
that
made.
They should do the right thing.
Temple from Remomasi, good morning.
Good morning, the very distinguished Ifemi. And how are you doing this morning?
Fine, thank you.
I salute you, the very distinguished Honorable Commissioner, sir. The very distinguished Ifemi, and if we must tell ourselves the truth this morning, that for those of us who reside within the confines of River State, and for those of us who live in Panya or Gabon or abroad, probably when they come back to River State, they need to ask some questions, and that I believe people who know what is going on here will oblige them the needed information. When we talk about the satisfaction, it is an understatement, because since the inception of the emergence of Governor Singh, his government has been that people's-oriented government, a government that puts smiles on the faces of people, a government that has the interest of River people at heart, a government that is concerned about the development and the empowerment of River State. I think that is point one. For me, in as much as the employment statement has been issued, portals has been opened for people to send their details. I think when the system is completed, the needful will be done. But for me, I am very much satisfied with what my governor is doing so far. But I want to appeal to him to remember the youth. Most importantly, me and some of us.
All right, thank you. George from Buguma, good morning.
Yes, Andrew, good morning to you. Happy New Week.
Yep.
To your guest, the commissioner. I
Go
say
ahead.
happy New Week and good morning. Andrew, you see, from the account of the commissioner of River State, you can see that, and all of us can see that the governor has done quite a good number of jobs, and is still willing, because he's the governor for the people, who heart is open to make sure that we are united as the people. That is why in my local palace, they say that in the head of the person that does not talk much is filled up with wisdom. And wisdom is rather doing the work rather than the talk. And that is why in the heart of people who talk much, it's only a means to fully express, you understand, their anger to the fullest. Anyone who talk much is someone who express his anger to the fullest. But in the life of someone who does not talk much, you see that wisdom is rather doing the work. You understand? The talk work, the wisdom is the one doing the talk work. So I want people to know that the governor we have today is somebody who God sent from heaven to come and deliver us from tyranny and from oppression. And that he will do. He is not ready to talk much, but he is ready to face
George,
it to square
thank you. Point has been made.
God.
Let's go to Okrika now. In Okrika, Muriel is on the line. Good morning, Muriel.
Thank you, Femi. Good morning.
Yep, you're welcome. Go on with your question or contribution.
You know that the government, this River State government has an enormous elephant project. They are working on which is a ring road, and the monies were borrowed, to finance it. And gradually, these monies will be paid every month as allocation comes in, IDR comes in, and 30%, all those things comes in. Gradually, they will be removing money gradually to pay offset this bill. I want to say those that are promoting or talking to the governor, they are not doing well. Obviously, it's not only when you come up and call them, ask them to speak, that they should be speaking. They should be telling us what the governor is doing. They know that the supporters of the governor outside, we need something to hold on to, something to talk about. Sometimes people will yell you, they say, ring road. The day they support governor, ring road. Okay, again. Look, they need to tell us things, They don't need to keep quiet. And then, you asked about what they are doing presently. Food. me, I don't know yet. The only thing I heard is the Songhai farm. I've not heard anything. Honestly, I've not heard, and I can't come out and say anything, any lies. And I think the government should help those that are doing business in the state, those private sector. We need to hear what the governor is doing to help them, the private sector, how they, even for the fact that our ports are not open, it's even troubling. The governor of Abia State is working towards building a new port for the state. We need to see more, honestly. I'm not.
All right,
when you ask your question, you need to satisfy. It's neither here nor there because I don't know what to say.
All right, let's go to Elele1 now. Itoro, good morning.
Morning, sir. Good morning, Mr. Commissioner. Yes, when you ask the commissioner a question about the private sector, I see Mr. Commissioner was very economical to the section, the question. Because, for instance, I have a small shop, but you see this tout going around all in the name of I'm an agent of government, giving us different kind of ticketing. Some of them 10,000, 15,000 in a very small shop. What is the government is doing about to stop these people? Me as a person, I love to pay tax, but not to pay to this tax that will not get to government hand. What is the government of the Rivers State is doing about these people who go around and intimidate people? That is my question.
Okay, Itoro, thank you. A very valid one. I will get the response of the commissioner shortly. We'll take a call from Gift and Susie, and then we come back to the commissioner to respond. We'll start with Gift in Yenegua. Good morning, Gift.
Andrew, my brother, good morning.
Welcome. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning to the commissioner. Good morning. Yes, Mr. Andrew, my brother, I supported this governor, but I must confess right now, I am totally disappointed. You ask him concerning the private sector. I will come even to that very civil servant that will not hear word, because we were the promoters. So the private sector, as far as I'm concerned, nothing is happening in Rivers State. Nothing. What is on ground? Tell me one thing. The collaboration between the government and the private sector. Just point at one, so that at the end of the day, I will know that, yes, this is what they have done. Then the civil servants that they are talking about, as I speak with you, look at Imo State that is very close. You will pick the civil servant from his home and from the office to his home. Then you look at Borno State, you look at Lagos. And if you understand their location that is coming to Rivers State after Lagos, Rivers is number 2. So what is happening? We from Bonny State, the governor paid 100,000 to local government and state civil servants. But because of 100,000, then just put that to the amount that has come into Rivers State from the federal location, then you understand that it is a point that is working, not this 100,000 that is not up to 5 billion naira for all workers, state workers, not
all right,
local
Gift.
government
Let's
workers.
go to Susie now. Thank you. Susie from Erema, quickly, let's hear from you. Good morning.
Yeah, I'm not going to be taking much of your time because you have raised all the questions to the commissioner. I'm so disappointing that you couldn't even provide much answer to the short-time progress projection of the governor of the present government that he's serving. But for the long time, I suppose the Songhai farm that we are using as a soundbite as regard to what the governor is supposed to do, that one is okay. But short-timely, as the situation is now in the state or the federation, what has the government done and what are they doing? Nothing. So to this extent, I want to say that I agree with those who have said that the governor for now is not actually doing anything as regard to meeting the immediate wants and needs of the people of the state, not issue of giving 100,000. Private individuals gave 100,000 within the period of December period. You know, here somebody did it. At Ubima, somebody did it. So what are we talking about? Government giving 100,000 to state government, to state civil servants, and not even to the local government. What about private individuals that does not work in the civil servant and all of that?
Okay,
what are we
Susie,
talking about?
Thank you.
Thank you very much from the
All right, Honorable Commissioner, we'll come back to you. Let's just add a few questions from WhatsApp so we wrap up quickly. Queen from Ada George says, please, sir, what about the 10,000 employment? The last time you understood, you said it's almost at completion. Ask the Commissioner, why is the Governor not addressing the press and answering questions? This one says, concerning the loan, who is eligible? Does this also include non-indigents? MD from Borokri. A few of those. So let's go. I mean, some of the things that pointed out, taxation. What policies is the government putting to benefit the private sector and to help small businesses that have the problem of taxation? There's also those who have said that the grassroots that you said they had the massive enlightenment with regards to the loans, that they did not hear it and have not heard it. And then
The worry I have is that our people are a little bit impatient. I do not blame them. It is common when we find ourselves in this kind of situation. But to say that you are not seeing what the governor is doing, I would assume that is an understatement. You know, to say you are not seeing that quite a lot in the area of infrastructure. We have done so much in the area of health and roads, which is usually the yardstick for measuring the performance of a governor. But to say that we're not seeing, I will not blame those who probably they have lost hope, particularly that even if the governor works on the water, if he works on the sea like Jesus did, so I don't want to say, look, an Okogoma cannot even swim. You know, so they have their reservations, they have their rights to it, but this government is quite young. This government is 9 months. Even a child delivery, in making a child, 9 months old baby, some come out a little after 9 months. So let's be a little bit patient.
Is there anything the government is looking at doing with regards to the syringe factory that is here in Rumosi? I mean, that factory was said to be...
There are a lot of proposals on the syringe factory, and government is also looking at it. Of syringe factory has over 31 billion investment. Government will not just look the other one and allow it to. So we are making efforts to reach out to those who will truly come and deploy that facility for the use of the state and for the benefit of all. So quite a lot of things are trying to revive doing so. People are quick to making assertions as to, believing that there's not so much that they're saying. Well, they have the right to it. And I can assure you that in no distant time, we'll be able to feel
all right, Commissioner.
Of this government. Yeah.
Thank you very much, but we have to wrap things up here. Thank you for your time. We'll continue to follow up with activities of the government and hope that you would give us information whenever we call.
Okay.
Thank you very much and have a great day. Oh, there you have it. It's the Morning Crossfire, and we wrap our conversation there. My name is Ifeami Andrew. Hello, Port Harcourt with Jude is next. Stay with us.
You are tuned